Today I would like to talk about control, or rather the lack of it. Because in recent years, I have been feeling quite drawn to creativity and the process of creating something. I was wondering why that is, because I have been creative as a child, what you would classify as a creative child. I was always quite good at drawing, singing, arts and crafts. But the desire that I have now, I think, comes from a very different place. And what that place is, I would like to explore here today. Feeling out of control is something that we all can relate to, because living in a world with, first of all, constant input, constant stimulation, constant news updates already makes you feel like you're not really in control of what is happening in the world. And then on top of that, we live in a society where for most people, a permanent employment, a 9 to 5, means you're not even in control of the work that you're doing. You have to report to a boss or a manager that decides over the work that you're doing every single day. I think there are two paths that this lack of control can lead you down. I would say one is way more active and the other one is way more passive. What I observe in most people is that they tend towards regaining control in the form of controlling other people, controlling your partner, controlling your kids, controlling your parents, your peers, your friends, your colleagues, your subordinates, trying to feel like you're in charge by being in charge of other people, no matter if that's your place to be in or not. I think this is a tool that a lot of people use to regain control in their life. Additionally, if you don't do it outwardly towards other people, you could also do it inwardly. We see the rise of eating disorders. We see the rise of, obsessive exercising. This control of your body, controlling your food intake, controlling your environment. Trying to regain control by leaving no balance, no open space for your body or your nutrition. These are both very active ways of how to regain control. But I think there's also a passive way. Very often people succumb to this lack of control with escapism or doom scrolling, for example, excessive partying, excess in consumption, for example, excess in food, just trying to fill this void and closing up every space that makes you aware that you're not really in control at the moment. You don't have to be either or. I think falling into two categories at the same time is very valid, and everything in life is seasonal and everything is dynamic. So are you. However, I do think it doesn't have to be like that. And that brings me to the main learning and finding of this video or this video essay. And that is that the solution to this lack of control is creativity. Why is that? When you create something that has never existed before, you are 100% in control. You decide the outcome. You decide the process. This makes you regain power because the process of creating something is so... you have all the authority. And therefore, I think it is the perfect solution to this lack of control that a lot of people feel nowadays, including me. You're probably going to say, oh, not creativity. Ugh, I've heard it so many times before. I'm not an artist. I'm not good at drawing. I hear you. But creativity per se is not just that. It's not these, arts and crafts disciplines that, you maybe do in preschool or kindergarten. And then if you're bad at it, you lose all the joy. Creativity, defined by Wikipedia, is actually the ability to create novel and valuable ideas through exercise of imagination. And I think this can be applied to so many areas in your life. I think you can apply novel and valuable ideas with imagination in whatever context suits you, to be honest. I would even go as far as to say that it doesn't have to be valuable. I don't think creativity needs to be valuable to anyone. I don't think it has to have a value in order to fulfill the need to create something. So what do I mean with creativity? I mean problem solving, for example, or creating something physical. Of course, this is more classic definition of creativity. But also creating your life requires creativity. How you live your everyday life, how you do your morning routine, your night routine, how you spend your days. This is already your creative project. This is a creative endeavor because every single day you make thousands of decisions and they require creativity, no matter if you actively think about, this is a creative process or not. Creating community, creating music, cooking, all these habits that you do in your life where you apply novel and valuable ideas through the act of imagination. So whether you like it or not, you probably are really creative. And the good thing is that creativity is not a trait that you're born with or not. I think it is a muscle that you can train. And once you start tapping into that process of training your creative muscle, having this habit embedded in your everyday life, you notice that you feel much more fulfilled by the actions that you do every day anyways, but just being aware that this is an active decision where I am using my creativity to go through the motions. I think this is can light you up from the inside. My creative endeavor to regain control in my life is what you're seeing now, essentially. But I've also made a little list of low barrier of entry habits that you can try out to get your creative juices flowing. They don't require you to buy pens or paint or papers. Nope. You just need your brain and maybe your phone. But that's gonna be in your hand anyway while you're watching this, so just use it. Okay, number 1. And I think this is actually, I have to do this as well. I wrote it down, and while I wrote it down, I thought, okay, I actually have to try this out myself, and that is creating a mind map. When was the last time you created a mind map? I can't remember, but it's such a genius tool to connect your thoughts, to connect trains of thoughts. And of course, you can make a mind map very introspective about you, your values, things you like, even your hobbies, or the people in your life. You could make a mind map about how all the people in your life are connected. That just forces you to see patterns that you maybe have never thought about actively before. I think this is a very fun exercise. It's completely free, and maybe it helps you learn a thing or two about yourself. Very close to that is create a list. Create a list. Very underrated, very, very valuable. Because I know you watch these videos, my top 5 habits of the month. These top 5 products that changed my life. List of movies that you must have seen in your life. We've seen it all. But you can also create these lists yourself, right? You can create your top 5 products of the month of April. You can create a list of the top 8 songs to listen to when you're heartbroken. You can curate your own lists. And I think this is almost as valuable as, the mind map exercise, if not more, because this makes you realize what you actually like and what you don't like. Maybe you have a list of flops or like your least favorite movies or your least favorite skincare products. I think it's such a fun exercise. And why should this exploration of what you like or what you observe be limited to, content creators? You can just do it yourself, and it's a very fun exercise. And of course, if you want to share that publicly on social media, amazing. But if not, then not. You can also just send it to your friends. Make a list of your least favorite exes and send it to your group chat. Great exercise. Your worst kisses. Amazing. Your best kisses. Think about it. Next topic. When you have the worst day of your life, you're probably hangover, you have to work tomorrow, it's Sunday, it's gloomy outside, you're already feeling terrible, and then your iPhone makes a collage of the weekend trip that you went on with your ex-boyfriend that was actually horrible, and it's just called Weekends with Friends. While these can be very fun and very traumatizing at the same time, I think it's worth curating one of those yourself. Create a folder on your phone of pictures that have the same vibe. Pictures of yourself that you really like. Pictures of your friends. Pictures that all feature the color blue. Curate a folder. And it doesn't have to be anything. You don't have to use it. But just this process is so easy. And then you can create a video of all the pictures in that folder. iPhone can also create that for you. But I think this is a very fun way to go through a camera roll, revisit memories, and then also see maybe what still resonates, what doesn't, which photos make you cringe, and how to utilize them in a way where they're not just sitting around in your camera roll. Okay, number 5, plan a day/event. And this can be super fun just to do for yourself, for a day that you have a lot of time to spend on your own. But this can also be a super fun activity for you and your friends, if you have friends. If not, maybe your colleagues or your parents. But just pick a day and think about, what food am I going to eat that day? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. What activities am I going to do today? Am I going to put a theme on this day? Is there an intention that I want to carry throughout the day or the event? I think this is a great example of how creativity does not require you to create something physical, something that you can see. It's just creating memories or experiences. And there are loads of great ideas on Pinterest or TikTok if you need inspiration. For arts and crafts, for example, this paint and sip, for example, plan that with your friends or even alone, or plan a day where you do all your childhood activities and eat food that you loved from your childhood to reconnect with your younger self. Just plan a day and make it yours. And believe it or not, that is also creativity. And then last but not least, I hate that people always say that, last but not least. It's just last in no particular order, but it's writing a film critique. Because sometimes I listen to a new album or watch a new show and I'm waiting for someone to tell me how to feel about it. Did I like it? Did I enjoy it? Did I have a good time? And then I watch a YouTube video of someone else sharing their opinion, and then I see, okay, that resonates with me, that's also my opinion, but how about you create that in the first place? And no, you don't have to write a perfect New York Times-esque essay about why this movie was good or not. You don't have to use big words. Just get your notes app out and say, I like this, I like that. Love the makeup, hated the music, the lighting was shitty, I couldn't see anything. Whatever it is, it's just for you. That's the good thing about creativity. It's for you. It's a process for you to regain control. It doesn't require making it public. It doesn't require any editing. It doesn't require perfection. You're not creating this to meet someone's expectations, not even your own. This is solely for you to regain control. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say actually to that topic. The message is pretty clear. If you want to feel like you're in control, control something. that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching / listening, because I'm sure that your attention span is not good enough to just watch this video for 15 minutes. So enjoy your day or do whatever. I don't tell you what to do. So, okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.